So yeah, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel yet again, and today we have some interesting TV shows that I'm going to review. But before that, I do want to say there's an upcoming project coming out. It's going to be great. It's going to be nice. It's going to be the next step in my musical stuff. Obviously, I put out Goddamn a few months ago. Now I have an actual EP coming out with 4 tracks in them, and all tracks having lyrics on them. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be nice. Trust, it's definitely going to be really good. So I can't wait to show you this EP, Sweet But Sour, just releasing on October 20th. And be sure to just stream it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. You can even get it on TikTok. You can even get it on Instagram, and all of that you can get this music. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this video right here. And I have to say, I got some pretty good things. Now, Apple TV Plus, and essentially an online streaming service. We have already a bunch of them, and Apple TV Plus is one of them. I think there's no need for any introduction on what an online streaming service is. Netflix is one of the example. So Apple TV Plus, I've been watching it. I've been a subscriber and I've been watching it for a long time right now, and I've definitely watched a lot of shows. And what I can definitely say is that there's a lot of shows on Apple TV Plus that don't get a lot of recognition. And although the Apple TV Plus catalog is not that much if you compare to the likes of Netflix or even Disney Plus, I think there's a lot of quality ones if you compare to Netflix. I think the ratio is just different. But with that being said, I'm going to review some of the Apple TV shows that I've watched. There's definitely more that I've watched, and quite possibly I'll review them in another video. But for now, these are the three. First one, we have Hijack. Now, Hijack is essentially, from its name itself, a hijacking series, and the series is not really that long. It's pretty short, and you would think when a TV show is titled Hijack, you would think it's going to be pretty hard to sort of fit a common and normal theme in entertainment film stuff known as hijack into a series that spans for a long time. And I think they've done a pretty good job on this one, because from start to finish it is just immediately entertaining. And that is because it's, although expected on how it will end, the terrorist being caught obviously, but the process of while being in the hijack, how the main characters sort of deal with it, is definitely different compared to other hijack based films or even TV shows out there. The main character being Idris Elba here doesn't really have much of a action scene influence at all. There's like one scene where he barely fights and he looks pretty weak in that. Idris Elba sort of shines through as a negotiator role, where he deals with the hijackers in a very 500 IQ way. Like, he does a lot of chess things going around, and he's a pretty good manipulator, I should say. He navigates on a lot of these situations, high intense moments, and definitely allows the hijacker to sort of play his way, but also benefits the hijacker in a lot of instances. And he definitely puts up plans with passengers as well in order to handle a lot of the situation. And it's chaotic, it's high intense, it's like a roller coaster ride from episode 1 to the last episode. It's just intense, the storyline. There's a lot of characters in the TV show itself where you're like, how is this character that? How is this character doing this? There's a lot of twists and turns. There's even a mega twist in the middle of the TV show. It just sets across some sort of feeling as a viewer. You're like, holy shit, how they're gonna handle in the next episode. So it's pretty intense, pretty chaotic, and I also have to say, this ride to the last moments of the TV show, it is what makes this entire show interesting. Is that how did they deal with all of these circumstances, especially Idris Elba, because he sort of deals with the hijacker and the passenger at the same time. It's just a weird role that he plays, but it just fits right in, and it's not that awkward or abnormal at all. Hijack is definitely a series worth the watch, I would say, and I will give it a 9 out of 10, definitely, 100%. Now, the second series that I have watched is Silo. Without even saying what I feel about this, I would just say it's a 10 out of 10 show, because I fell in love with the show from the get-go itself. It's a sci-fi series, a sci-fi TV show. So a lot of abnormal reality stuff that is going around here. And also, it's a complete mind-bending TV series in the entirety of its runtime. It sort of gives you a reality that there's an actual community, there's a country, like a country living in a silo. They have a lot of like roles. They have like mayor role, police force. Like it's an actual country. It's an operating government, but in a silo, which is weird. They sort of have this ideology and a propaganda that if you go outside of the silo, you're dead, because outside of the silo there's nothing, so you should not go out. You're like the last existing human and stuff like that. They sort of share that propaganda all around the silo, but you have a few characters that sort of think that that is not true at all. It's false. The silo sort of have hidden answers to a lot of questions that some of these characters have, and some other characters sort of learning new things about the silo that the higher ups don't even really share about them. So there's a lot of things that sort of get interesting towards the midpoint of the TV show, and from the start to the midpoint, it's actually just questions that you ask yourself as the viewers on what is actually going on in the entirety of the silo right here, and who are these people, what are they even hiding. It almost feels like none of them can be trusted, even the main character herself. I think the show entirely was just a good pace. It was a lot of questions and answers that just sort of come up in every single episode, and it definitely finishes in a cliffhanger. But either way, I think Silo is just interesting from the get-go, and it gives you a space and reality to think and sort of live in that silo community, country, or whatever, and sort of experience the intensity and the moments of just mind-bending stuff that is going around in a lot of scenes. So as the main character goes around in this series from episode to episode, and you see her sort of finding answers, finding true answers, and eventually actually going outside of the silo and, you know, unlocking new questions and new bizarre things that sort of happen outside as well. And that's where it ends. That itself, this entire series for the first season, which I'm pretty sure there's another season as well upcoming, or maybe not, but I feel like Silo was just a complete mind-bending experience, and it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Next up, we have Drops of God. Now, Drops of God is a series that I watched a pretty while back, a few months ago, maybe a lot more months ago, and I have to say it's a pretty vibrant experience, I should say, because it's a mixture of two cultures. You have French culture coming in, you have a Japanese culture coming in, and sort of fused together in this TV series that is sometimes funny, sometimes witty, sometimes a little bit dark, sometimes it's just story driven with a lot of characters that have artistic visuals. It's aesthetic as hell. So Drops of God entirely is definitely a very chill but also a quality TV show that is being produced out. It's nothing like I've ever seen before, definitely. No other TV show that has ever done, because of the topic that it's talking about, and the topic here being wine. Essentially, you have a French girl and a Japanese dude. They sort of fight over, not really like physical fight, but more of wine tasting competition kind of fight. And the winner actually gets the father of the French girl's actual like heritage stuff. Like they get their wine collection. Basically, he's a very rich dude that sort of wrote a will, and the will actually states that these two people have to do a wine tasting competition. So the story sort of revolves around that premise, that competition itself, and who the winner actually is. And there's a reason why we all know that his daughter is this French girl, and why would he want a Japanese dude and his own daughter fight over his wine collection stuff. There's actually a reason behind it, and so it gets very emotional. It gets a lot of family stuff and a lot of relationship stuff. It just gets pretty interesting. It's a very slow TV show for sure. It definitely takes its own time to sort of breathe and relax, and that's what I mean when I said that it's pretty much a chill TV show, because you're just relaxing yourself, you're just enjoying what the core of the story really is about. And there's a lot of father-daughter relationship, a teacher and a student relationship going around, and it's pretty nice, especially towards the ending. The story also gives you a perspective on wine itself. I think that's definitely one of the topics that were discussed in the TV show, which was very interesting, because I never knew wine has just like so many stuff about it, and it's like an entire subject that people have to study and learn about. It's just pretty interesting to see the amount of wine varieties out there, types of ways they actually create wine, and it's just amazing on how that as a subject and having, relationships with your own family members coming into play. And then obviously you have the Japanese guy who sort of have his own, relationship with the father, and he has his own experiences, and he's pretty much a PhD, I would say, in wine tasting, because this guy just knows about wine. He knows the soil even. Although the show entirely does have moments of just dragginess and slowness, I do feel it just comes up as a very chill, laid back TV show. Nothing to take too serious about. It definitely gets a lot of interesting moments in its entire runtime, and definitely highlights a lot of the moments that I just discussed about. So for that, I'll give this a 8 out of 10 TV show. So yeah, that's it. Hijack, Silo, Drops of God. Let me know which one do you think is very interesting for you, or have you watched it? You can let me know as well which one you love the most out of the three. I will do other Apple TV shows review and stuff like that upcoming, because I have definitely watched more than just these three. I am currently watching Vinland Saga, so that review will also be up once I'm done with it. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.